I'm the sole heir to Dad's $3 million legacy. You two better pack up and leave.
With the will in hand, my older brother boasted, "Just leave the money and take Grandma with you, ha 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 ha." Dana, my brother's wife, smirked as she pushed my mom and me. "That will is definitely fishy." I shouted desperately, but my brother mocked me.
You, who treated Dad so poorly, dare to speak? Go away and never come back.
Anger and confusion consumed me. My brother, who suddenly claimed everything and labeled us as villains. His wife, Dana, calling my mom Grandma and trying to kick her out. I can't forgive them. I can't see them as family anymore. Yet, despite our resistance, we were thrown out. This can't be. Standing under the cold sky, staring at the slammed door, my mom smirked. "It's okay, just watch, ha ha ha." My name is Lindy. I'm single and work from home as an illustrator. I recently moved back to my parents' house due to certain circumstances. Speaking of which, "Lindy, Dad looked a bit better today." Mom, just back from the hospital, spoke as she took off her coat. "I hope so. I'll visit him tomorrow. Hopefully, he'll respond." "Yes, I feel he's happy when we're there. He knows we're there for him." Our father, Theodore Harries, suffered a sudden stroke last year, leaving severe after effects. Initially, he could move and speak a bit, but he soon relapsed and became bedridden. No one expected this, especially since he was a hard-working businessman. Mom and I were devastated. But for our loving dad, Mom and I decided to care for him as best we could. We took turns visiting the hospital, doing everything possible for him. Mom worked, so to support her, I moved back home, which was closer to the hospital. Mom and Dad were the ideal couple. She's naturally cheerful, but was deeply saddened when Dad fell ill. Being alone might be tough for her, which is another reason I returned. As we discussed my dad's condition, my phone rang. It was my brother, Tony. "Hello?"
Hey, are you two out tomorrow for Dad's care?
Suddenly, my brother says something like that. Why ask now? You've been silent all this while.
What's it to you? Anyway, I got what I wanted.
As Tony was about to hang up, Mom snatched the phone. "Tony, visit once in a while. Help out."
Why? Dad won't even recognize me.
"Hey, that's not the way." Before Mom could retort, he hung up. What was that about? Maybe he's worried about Dad in his own way? I used to think so. Tony was always selfish, taking my things and belittling me. Ever since I was a child, it has been common for people to take things away from me and make derogatory comments. He'd act sweet to Dad for pocket money, but treated our hardworking mom horribly, even calling her Grandma. He moved out long ago and never helped with Dad's care. He recently married Dana, whom we never met. Other than occasional calls like today's, we had no contact. After that, the days of caring for Dad with Mom continued. But a few months later, the unexpected happened. We got a frantic call from the hospital, and by the time Mom and I had arrived, Dad had already passed away. He had another stroke, and this time they couldn't save him. Holding on to Mom as she broke down in tears, I cried too. I remember Dad from my childhood, always finding time to play with me despite his busy work schedule, and buying me lots of colored pencils because I loved drawing. He was always upright, sincere, and most importantly, he cherished Mom. They were the perfect couple. Memories of Dad flooded back, and the pain was unbearable. I knew Mom felt it even more, but we couldn't just mourn. Mom and I began preparing for Dad's funeral. Of course, we contacted my older brother, who lived nearby, and waited for him. But he didn't show up for the wake or the funeral. That night after the funeral, when all the guests had left, a drained Mom and I were left alone. Mom, being the chief mourner must have been tough. You did well. Thank you, Lindy. You've been a great help. I can't believe our brother didn't even come to Dad's funeral. I know. I'm at my wit's end with him. Mom looked troubled. On top of grieving for Dad, my brother was causing her more stress. A week later, things took a drastic turn. After the memorial service, my brother and his wife suddenly showed up. He wore a flashy shirt, not looking like he was mourning at all. The woman next to him, probably his wife Dana, wore heavy makeup and a short skirt. Seriously, where were you during the funeral? I confronted him, but he just walked into our house, ignoring me. Mom looked shocked to see him. Tony, why are you here all of a sudden?
I'm here to find Dad's will. It might mention the inheritance.
Hearing my brother's smug words, Mom and I were taken aback. You're talking about inheritance when you didn't even attend the funeral? Dad didn't prepare anything like that. Ignoring my protest, the couple went straight to Dad's study. We watched in disbelief as they rummaged through Dad's desk.
Ha! Found it!
My brother exclaimed. To our shock, there was an envelope labeled Will in Dad's drawer. He opened it and began reading.
It says here, I, Theodore Harries, bequeath my property, $3 million and the house, entirely to my eldest son, Tony.
What? We were shocked not only that Dad had a will, but also by its contents. Reading further, Tony said,
It also says, my wife Whitney and daughter Lindy have neglected me. Therefore, I leave them nothing. Did you guys mistreat Dad? That's low, haha.
Wow, that's the worst. They're such a cruel mother and daughter, ha ha ha. Dana, trying to hold back her laughter. That can't be true. Let me see that. I snatched the will from him, and there it was, in Dad's shaky handwriting, exactly as Tony read it.
See, it's legit. Poor Dad. He must have written this before he became bedridden. If only I had noticed earlier.
Tony feigned sorrow. We've always cared for Dad with all our hearts, Mom whispered. This has to be some mistake. I shouted, but Tony just glared at me.
I'm taking Dad's $3 million inheritance. You two better pack up and leave.
Holding the will, he looked at us triumphantly. Just leave the money and take your old lady with you, ha ha ha. Dana smirked and added her 2 cents. Do you even realize what you're saying?
Shut up. There's nothing here for you two.
My brother spat out his words. I was shaking with anger amidst the confusion. My brother, who suddenly appeared to claim the inheritance and labeled us as cruel, and his wife, who called Mom an old lady and tried to kick her out. I couldn't forgive them. I couldn't see them as family anymore. I tried to resist, but Tony and Dana kept pushing us out. This will is definitely suspicious. I shouted desperately, but Tony mocked me.
You two treated Dad so poorly. Now go and never come back.
We didn't. Helplessly, we were thrown out into the cold. Staring at the closed door, Mom suddenly smirked. It's okay, just watch. I was too shocked to say anything. After that, Mom and I temporarily moved to my apartment. One day, Mom shared a significant revelation with me. Hearing it, I felt dizzy from the shock. A week later, we visited our family home again.
What do you want? If it's about money, you're not getting a cent.
Tony, now draped in luxury brands, grinned. Such a greedy mother-daughter duo, coming back now. Dana sat there, smiling as if she couldn't help but laugh. Luxury bags are scattered around the room.
Look at this, Will. Haha, you understand Dad's feelings, right? What do you two want now?
Tony flaunted the will again. Seeing it, Mom sighed deeply and said firmly, You two forged it, didn't you? The couple looked momentarily shocked, but then turned furious.
What are you talking about?
You're just blinded by greed, making false accusations. But Mom remained calm. The date on the will is the day Dad was in the ICU.
What?
I chimed in. You wouldn't know since you never cared for him. That date was when Dad had his stroke. We were at the hospital and he couldn't have written anything.
That's impossible.
Why not verify it with the hospital records? Still, Tony, red-faced, argued.
That's it. Dad must have gotten the date wrong. His signature is right there.
I glared at him. You probably sneaked in while we were caring for Dad and planted it. We can easily check for fingerprints. Mom added. Also, I've kept letters from Dad. The handwriting on the will might look similar, but it's not the same. A handwriting expert would easily spot the difference. Tony's confidence waned. He probably hadn't thought things through.
Why? How?
He mumbled, panicking. I raised you. I know what you're capable of. Mom said, exasperated. Forging a will is a crime, you know. And you can lose your right to inherit, didn't you know?
Why do you know all this?
Tony looked at Mom in disbelief. Well, I'm a legal assistant. Basically, a pro in inheritance matters. Sure enough, Mom had recently passed the paralegal exam and became a certified paralegal. My brother, who hadn't visited home in over a decade, probably thought she was just a part-time worker. But after we became independent, Mom pursued her long-time dream, studied hard, and achieved her goal. My brother looked at us in shock. I said to him, Did you think you could deceive your naive sister and a part-time working mother? Too bad for you. Suddenly, my brother yelled at his wife.
Hey, you said they wouldn't know about handwriting analysis, that it'd be easy. Now we're busted.
His wife shot back. It's your fault, Tony. You should have checked the date before writing.
We paid so much to get the handwriting to look similar, and now it's all for nothing.
That's not my problem. The two bickered loudly. Mom and I watched, but Mom reaching her limit. Enough! Both of you be quiet. My brother with pleading eyes.
Mom, please, we're family, right? You wouldn't sue me, would you? And you'd share some of the inheritance, right?
Mom responded firmly. What are you talking about? I'll definitely press charges. It's too malicious.
But...
You might even go to jail. Be prepared. Hearing this, my brother and his wife looked deflated. I speak quietly to these two people. I calmly spoke to them. Brother, Dad left a proper will. It was stored at a law firm. It was dated just before he had a stroke. I continued showing the official will. It says, I leave the house and land to Mom. The $3 million inheritance will be divided according to legal shares. One half to the spouse and the rest equally among the children. Do you understand? The couple looked at us, dumbfounded. I continued. So, out of the $3 million, $1.5 million goes to Mom, and $750,000 each to us. Dad was always fair. My brother's eyes widened in shock. Mom then said sternly, "But Tony, you forged the will and are now disqualified from inheriting. We won't forgive you. You could have had $750,000, but your greed cost you everything." Hearing this, his wife gritted her teeth, and my brother hung his head in shame. Mom and I glanced at them, then stood up. "This place isn't yours anymore. Pack your things and leave. From today, our family ties are severed. Don't contact us ever again." Mom made them pack and chased them out. They looked lost. 3 months later, Mom did press charges, and the couple was found guilty of forging an official document. They avoided jail time, but lost their jobs when their employers found out. Rumors say they now live in a shabby apartment, always fighting. But for Mom and me, they're no longer our concern. We reclaimed our house and successfully inherited Dad's assets. Mom got one half, and since my brother was disqualified, I got the other half. I hesitated, but Mom insisted I accept it. We've regained our peace and still live together in our family home. Seeing Mom work hard as a paralegal, I'm so proud. I want to live a life worthy of my admirable parents. With these thoughts, Mom and I look at Dad's photo today, reminiscing about the past.